How do you change the game when you're sitting on the bench?
Remember being away from home for the first time and how hard that is. And you can go through the motions, or you can take the opportunity to prepare yourself during that season for when you get your name or number called to go into the game. If you are the leader, then you got to know that people are watching you. That's what's going to help encourage these people through. Take advantage when it's hard, when you think no one's watching. That's when you're getting prepared for that moment.
How do you maintain a good attitude when you're on the bench?
Wow, that's a big one, Britt. Welcome to Good Neighbor Game Changers.
We're Matt and Brittany, here to help you love boldly, lead with purpose, and shift the atmosphere right where you are.
This is your place to get encouraged, equipped, and activated to live on mission.
It starts by loving our neighbors in life and in business.
This is Good Neighbor Game Changers. Grab your cup of coffee and tune in.
Hi, welcome to Good Neighbor Game Changers. Today, I'm going to be interviewing my husband, Matt McCoy. And the question I'm going to be asking him is, how do you change the game when you're sitting on the bench?
Wow, that's a big one, Britt. Yeah, I mean, I think, you sit there and look, there's a lot of people that we even talk to that aren't necessarily in a position of leadership. They're not in a position of the owner or the manager. They're just an employee. They're just on the team. But they want, and they have aspirations to want to make an impact, to change, to make an impact in the result of the game. I think when I think about that, I go back to my true freshman year at OU. I come in and go through two-a-days, and then I find out I'm in a redshirt. So it's like you come out of high school as a 3-year starter in high school, playing every down both ways all the time, to now you're redshirted.
What's redshirt mean?
Yeah, so redshirting is you're on the team, you practice every day with the team, you lift weights with the team, you watch, you do everything the whole team does, but you just can't play in a game.
Mm-hmm.
They've actually changed the rules a little bit now to where you can play up to 4 games and still preserve a red shirt, which I like, I think, and that's kind of a different topic. I do like that.
What's the purpose behind a red shirt?
So the point behind a red shirt is to come in and, a lot of times kids come in out of high school and they're not physically strong enough, physically fast enough. They just need another year to develop. And so what this does is gives them an additional year of weights, of running, conditioning, learning and plays. You throw all that on top of, you just remember being away from home for the first time and how hard that is, and not having your comforts of your bed and your mom's food and all those things. So this redshirting for me, it was really, really hard, but I look back on it as a true freshman versus a 5th-year senior, how much better you are as a 5th-year senior versus a true freshman. But that year, though, was critical in so many aspects. My faith, just growing as a man, just creating an independence, creating the ability to just kind of do things on my own and come out of high school and everything had been done for me. And, I think you look, and you've got 2 ways you can go. You can go through the motions. So people out there right now that are working for somebody, people that are in an entry-level position, you can go through the motions, or you can take the opportunity to prepare yourself during that season for when you get your name or number called to go into the game. So for me, it was really challenging because you go through and you're on the scout team. So you are the team that the team is about to play. So if we're going to play Kansas State, we line up like Kansas State and run their plays. So the starters get a look at what they're going to see on Saturdays. And so I remembered there was times you just were like, ugh, what am I doing? What am I doing? And then something kind of clicked, something changed about, I don't know, a month into the season. It was like, I need to take advantage of this because this is my chance to get bigger, to get stronger, to get faster, to learn the game, to learn actually multiple positions. Can I learn free safety, strong safety, nickel, corner, learn everything I can. And then the other thing, what it really showed me was, playing on the scout team, what you're really doing is you are toughening yourself. You are now showing a coaching staff, let's say it's in sports, but if it's in the real world, if you're in an entry-level position, you're showing management, you're showing the business owner, hey, I'm not too big to go on the teller line. Hey, I'm not too big to take out the trash. I'm not too big to sweep the floor. And I think that's what this humility starts
Mhm.
to come over you. And when you can go through something like that and prepare yourself and take advantage of that opportunity when it comes, because then you go into the next year and, now I'm eligible to play and things were completely different. I still was in that developmental role. I'm still a backup. I'm still only playing on some special teams. But that year changed me forever.
So talk to me about how was it that you kept your heart pure, your motivation high, just that like, man, I'm not even playing. I can go to any of these schools and be starter. How did you handle those tempting thoughts?
So, what I think it did for me was that was a time period where leadership actually mattered because you've got a broad scope of people within a company, a broad scope of people within a team.
Mm.
And you got your guys that are your game changers, and then you got your guys that are just role players, even role employees. They all play a role. Some of them it's basic and some of them it's more advanced. But what I saw when I was sitting in that role was leadership. They kept the vision on the championship. They kept the vision on winning game by game, and we had to just focus today, be the best we can today,
Mhm.
because then we can string a week long and we can win Saturday. And then we got to turn around and do that the next week. And then, keeping the vision of a national championship, the Big 12 championship, national championship. So to me, as I look back, it's like, okay, if you're the leader, you've got to also realize, man, you're setting the tone and the pace for everybody, even if it's the lowliest guy, the frontline guy in your company. He's trying to keep encouraged. He's trying to keep motivated. And so his hope and he's looking up at the leader.
Mhm.
And so we had a really good group of leaders. When I was young, Josh Heupel, he's now the head coach at Tennessee, was the epitome of the leader, kept everybody focused on the main thing. And so I would say to answer that, it was the leadership within our team. So people that are within an organization understand, regardless of what end you're on, they're looking for a leader. If you are the leader, then you got to know the people are watching you. That's what's going to help encourage these people through.
Wow, that's so good.
Yeah. And, I think, Britt, the bigger picture is that when you're in a position, not as the leader, you've got to take advantage because there is going to be a time that's going to come when management, when leadership, when a head coach is going to give you your shot. And if you're not prepared
Mhm.
when your shot comes, then there's only one to put that on, and that's on you for not being prepared. And I remember we go into my sophomore year, redshirt sophomore year, so my third year in the program. We had in the very first game of the year, we had an injury. A guy got injured, and at halftime, I was going to come back out and was going to be playing with the starters. I was going to be the nickel, the fifth defensive back, and that kind of became our base defense, really. And I remember sitting there thinking in the back of my mind, this is my chance. And you hate it for somebody who gets hurt, but you know what? Things happen, and I got an opportunity, and that was my shot that I had to be able to take advantage of. Had I not been paying attention in film, had I not been paying attention all those years, on scout team, those times where it's just rough, you're not prepared. And I was able to take advantage of that opportunity. So I would just encourage people, man, take advantage when it's hard, when you think no one's watching, that's when you're getting prepared for that
Mhm.
moment.
Yeah, that's key right there. When you think no one's watching, it's actually really matters the most.
Absolutely.
Before people
Yeah.
are going to see you on the field, what were you doing off the field was really
Mhm.
going to matter on how you were able to show up on the field.
Absolutely.
So, can you walk us through maybe some of the mindset of, coming in, redshirting, watching, kind of just trying to develop into, okay, now I am being called upon to get in the game. What was the mind shift and mindset that's going on that you can share, to our
Yeah,
audience?
I think especially as you talk to overachievers, you talk to entrepreneurs, competitive folks, there's always you're a leader regardless of where you are on the spectrum. So there's a group, we're redshirted, but there's still leadership that's taking place, but there's also a submission and a following in line under the authority of the team captains, under your head coach, your position coach. And so it is learning actually how to be a follower, if you will, learning what the system is, what's the process while submitting under that that authority. And then you take that to our spiritual life, and it's the same thing. I mean, we're leaders, but we have a leader we follow, and being able to submit under that in how we run and lead our lives. I think for me, I remember you all of a sudden go from the scout team to starting it. There is a moment where things do flip. And I remember there's guys that are still, they're backups and second, third, I always had a heart to want to help these young guys that were coming in, because I remember one, just the being away from home, the just trying to learn. We had, coach was very demanding how to get guys through that process. And so I always really felt that I was called to help these young guys that are coming up and through. And then there was times when, other guys were starting and I was as a backup. And so, but you still, once you're a leader, you're a leader. Once you coach, you coach, and it doesn't really matter where you are. So I overall am grateful for the opportunity to see both sides of that.
Mhm.
I think it served us well now in our business to know how to play both sides. And it's interesting because we'll talk with you later on being a leader in the business, or if you're not in the business, if that business is running and you're out of the business, how do you still lead from afar versus being right in the middle of it?
Okay, so last question. How do you maintain a good attitude when you're on the bench?
Well, that kind of comes back to it's our choice how we respond and wake up every day. It was really tough. I remember back then it was really hard maintain a good attitude, but you have to flip it into, okay, what's the bigger picture? What am I really working towards here? I mean, just today, I was at the gym working out this morning, and it made me realize, hey, I've got to die to self, get myself out of this, stop making this about me and make this on the bigger picture. I got a wife, I got 2 kids, I got a business, another business. I've got things that I've got to get done today. I can't keep making this poor me or about me. So if you're that person that's on the bench right now, stop making it about you and start making it about somebody else. So with all that, guys, I just am grateful for the opportunity to get to share a little bit about me. Britt, thanks for the hard questions. And I look forward to hearing Brittany. I get to interview and ask her the hard questions on our next episode.
Thanks for joining us today on Good Neighbor Game Changers.
If this encouraged you, hey, share it with a friend and keep the movement going.
And remember, real change starts with one act of love.
Let's keep changing the game by loving our neighbors.